Hello everyone, this is Joel Davis with YouAreTheBroker.com, helping you to build a highly effective and highly profitable broker business. I will do my absolute best to try to keep this video as short as possible, but I do have a lot of important topics I want to cover, so I do hope that you will watch the entire video, even if I have to speak faster or if you have to pause it and come back later to finish. Definitely watch the entire video. One thing we always do for our active licensees is support them to the best of our ability, which includes answering questions. Now, one of our active licensees, she sent me a great email, and we've had similar questions before from other licensees, but I told her I want to actually use her question and this answer in a video as well, so I could share it with all of you. So, long story short, she asked me if I was familiar with a certain company that is trying to provide somewhat of a similar service when it comes to doing deliveries, or what we call express moves. They call it regular moves. We call it express moves for a reason, because we target specific move jobs. Anyways, I told her I was very familiar with it, but it's definitely a different business model. See, in a previous video, I talked about the benefits of what I call the Uber effect, i.e. the benefits of those technology platforms, but there also is a downside. The downside is the actual business model itself can be very much diluted when you try to apply it to a wide variety of industries. For example, everybody is trying to take the technology platform and the same rideshare business model and apply it to the NEMT industry. And it is a tall order. It's very difficult. They are trying their darndest to do it, but man, they are facing so many challenges, so many obstacles. I could write a whole doctoral dissertation on the problems they're having and why there's so many lawsuits out there. So if you get one of these companies trying to get you to come into one of their ride-sharing NEMT services, you better be wary. So a lot of them will try to piggyback on the Uber frenzy out there, and these technology companies will try to cookie cutter method, apply the same business model, the same type of platform to traditional delivery and moving services. But again, it's a very tall order. Let's talk about the downside of the what I call the Uber effect, the rideshare industry itself. I remember seeing quite some time ago that an article that was talking about the average longevity of quote-unquote employment for a rideshare driver is something less than 11 months. So some people are doing it probably for a couple years. Others wise up pretty quick and they realize, man, we're not really making any money. I think the average hourly rate of reimbursement for a Uber driver was on or about $14 an hour. But again, when you factor in you're paying for the gas, the wear and tear on your vehicles, you're killing the miles in your car, et cetera, you realize, okay, you know what, I'm really not making any money. I'm just working for somebody else. I'm not getting ahead. So that's why that kind of leads to why the longevity of employment for driving for an Uber or a Lyft is on average less than 11 months. So the thing is that these guys are really not making a lot of money. So our active licensee, she sent me an email, asked me, do you know this specific company? And I said, yes, I'm very familiar with it. They're trying to do the exact same thing. They want to apply the Uber business model to traditional delivery and moving type services. The problem is, and she was interviewing a couple of contractors who said, hey, we also contract and we do some work for this company too. So they were somewhat familiar with what she was trying to present to them. The problem is this other company that this other software platform, because everybody wants to ride the frenzy of the Uber and how their IPO is gonna make so much money, and they're playing the long game. They want the same type of software platform and ride the Uber frenzy. But they are trying to get what I'm gonna call the average Joe. They want the average Joe to use his POV, his personally owned vehicle, his own pickup truck, to go out there and perform deliveries or moving for people, things of that nature. Just like in the rideshare industry, you take your personal owned vehicle and you perform service and you just grind it down. Same thing with these other software-based platforms that are really building their own broker businesses to do deliveries and move jobs. Now, the problem is this, as I was explaining to this licensee and I've explained to others. Yeah, they are getting the average Joe to use their own truck or vehicle to try to perform delivery, moving services. The problem is their price point is so low. For example, my broker business right now, we're operating in 5 states. Now, out of those 5 states, as you can imagine, our rates do vary by area and region. So our mileage rate will definitely vary. Some of the ancillary charges, the secondary mileage charges, they all vary. So that way we're competitive and it's applicable to each area. However, our absolute lowest base pickup rate is $60. So that means out of all 5 states, out of all those areas, some are higher, but the lowest we have is $60. Now the company that she was asking me about, completely different business model. Again, remember, their philosophy is to get the average Joe using a pickup truck to provide service. So where our base pickup fee would be $60 for a delivery plus mileage, using this other company who is trying to apply the traditional rideshare technology and business model to for their business, they're going to get that average Joe who's going to go out there and try to do a delivery, furniture delivery, and he's literally going to try to do it with his pickup truck for $30, $35. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I will never touch that. I'm never going to do it. I love pickup trucks. I own 2 pickup trucks. In fact, I just bought a new F-150 last week. We provide service for one of our retail companies. They actually have, I believe, close to 800 stores nationwide. So obviously we don't facilitate all those stores yet until we continue to grow capacity. But we obviously provide significant work for a number of their stores in the areas where we work. Now, they provide primary delivery service of all their furniture, but for all their furniture that's a floor model, they always use us. So they have their own in-house delivery service, and when someone comes in and purchases something out of inventory, they deliver it. But anything off the floor, they always use us. So we do a lot of deliveries for them. Now, if I'm delivering furniture, do you think that this company would use us if we're using pickup trucks? Absolutely not. If I showed up there tomorrow and said, hey, but you should really use me because look at this. This is a brand new 2019 bright, shiny black pickup truck. Hey, this is going to be great. No, they're not going to use us. What happens if it's inclement weather? Do you think that any of these stores, do you think they want us using a pickup truck to roll up to the front yard of their customer and have their couch, their love seat, anything sticking out the back end of a pickup truck? Absolutely not. So in going back to the question of our licensee, am I familiar with them? Yes, I'm very familiar with them. But it's apples to oranges. They could say that they're trying to do the same service we are, but they're not. So if that makes us, we're a little bit more upscale, consider yourself a little bit more upscale. Again, where our price point is literally coming out of the gate, our base pickup fee is $60. So I'm never going to compete with $30 for average Joe who's going to try to use his own pickup truck. What's he going to do when it's raining? What's he going to do in inclement weather? You still going to do it? You still going to load up a couch or a love seat for somebody and just going to pull it in your own pickup truck? That's crazy. That's not the brand. That is not the branding you want for your business whatsoever. So a couple things. Number one, the good news is while she was interviewing these prospective contractors and they said, yeah, we also contract for this company. Yeah, that makes them a viable candidate because they're at least familiar with the broker concept in terms of working as an independent contractor. But you need to make sure that they have the right equipment or access to the right equipment. For example, some of our contractors, they make a lot of money. We have guys that are making 6 figures. So do you really think that average Joe using his pickup truck is making 6 figures? I would hazard to bet he probably is not. In fact, I would probably guarantee he's not. His price point is too low. He doesn't have enough meat on the bones to ever grow and scale his business versus some of our contractors. I know that they are not performing all of the work orders themselves. How do I know that? Because we provide them with a lot of work orders. And in conversing with them, I know for a fact they sub some of the work. There are times where some of our contractors will literally, when it is necessary, we'll load them up with a lot of work orders. They will literally go out and get a second box truck, i.e. they will rent it for the weekend. They will rent it for 1 day. They'll rent it for 2 days, whatever is necessary, because we will just load them up with work orders. So they want that box truck. So don't ever be afraid to, if some of your contractors in the short term are actually renting a box truck to fill the need, fill demand. That's awesome. That's great. The bottom line is you do not want someone who is doing deliveries of any type of large parcels or boxes or definitely not furniture in the back of their own personal pickup truck. It is what you call ghetto, G-H-E-T-T-O, ghetto, chateau. That is not what you want. Remember, everything you are doing is to build a brand. You want brand recognition for your broker business. And we want you to have a strong brand because we want you contributing to our overall national network. So be wary, by all means. Don't hesitate to converse with, to bring on these contractors that come from these other companies. But understand, you have to train them up your way. If they're used to using their own personal truck, that's not what you want. You do not want some deliveries in a personal POV. And realistically, the laws of economics do not add up. It doesn't matter what business model you apply. You cannot violate the laws of economics. Okay, if we're trying to compare apples to apples and someone is going to charge $30 to deliver, let's say, a couch, and my base pickup fee, we don't even turn over the ignition for less than $60 plus mileage. Trust me, that average Joe, he could grind out his personal truck, wear it down, roll up the miles all he wants for $30 a day. I don't care, because I will never compete with that, nor should you. So number one, don't hesitate to converse, open up dialogue to see if there is some potential with some of those contractors. But understand, you are never going to do business. You're never going to contract with the actual broker business itself. So these broker businesses that are heavy on technology, but they're weak on delivery because they're really trying to use that average Joe in his own pickup truck, you're never going to use or partner or in any way utilize that actual company itself. So understand, everything you learn from me and our entire youarethebroker.com system is for you to build and grow and scale your business. The reason why I'm successful is because I help my contractors make money. If my contractors, if I can get them on a feeding frenzy of making money, they're going to build my business, and they do. And the same thing is going to happen with you. Versus take these other platforms out there that are heavy tech, low capacity. They're going to spit and sputter all day long if they're trying to use the average Joe and grinding out their personal pickup truck. The laws of economics will always win. You cannot violate the laws of economics long term and hope to prosper. Which leads me to a very, very important point. Now, I'm not going to try to brag about anything and say that I'm some great prophet or some visionary, because I'm not. But I am very good at what I do. And I'm very good at watching, monitoring, and playing the trends, whether it's in the market or anything. One thing I've always done, now, look, there's a lot of people who watch these videos. We have about 20,000 people associated with my newsletters. That's awesome. Hey, we love y'all. The vast majority of you, let's just be honest. Let's just keep it straight and be honest. The vast majority of you are never going to do anything. And I get that. So at this point in time, I get it. I just offended some of you and you're going to unsubscribe and delete. I get it. You're never going to do anything anyway, so I understand our relationship was limited anyways. It is what it is. There's a lot of people, whether they're part of my newsletter or other, they're the freebie experts. They do the freebie frenzy. They just try to soak up all the free stuff they can, and they want to make themselves masters and commanders of their own destiny off all the free stuff. Have at it. But again, you cannot violate the laws of economics. Now, a long time ago, years ago, in one of my Virginia seminars, this is just one classic example, I talked about how Obamacare was an absolute disaster, and it was, and it still is for business owners. I remember I will always share this quick example one of my business owners in the home care industry, single mother, hardworking black woman. She had over 200 caregivers. And, you know, when Obamacare came out with their 50 employee mandate, man, it was a dagger in the heart. It was the wooden stake in the heart for her business, because we literally had to transform her entire business, bring it down to less than 50 employees. I mean, it was a big to-do. A lot of people got laid off. She had a lot of part-timers who got laid off. Some of her full-time people had to get second jobs. I mean, it was a deal killer for her business. But in order to survive and sustain her and her kids, again, she's a single mother, hardworking. I mean, we had to do what we had to do. But when I was first talking about Obamacare and the disaster it was going to be, people thought I was crazy. I remember there was literally 2 females at one of my Virginia seminars who you could tell that they were upset because they loved Obama, and here it is, it's a signature policy. So I'm the scourge of the earth because I'm railing against this stupid policy. Okay, the fast forward a few years later, Obamacare, disaster. Worst thing for the non-emergency medical transportation business. You think I'm wrong? Ask yourself, if you're associated with the NEMT industry right now, ask yourself what a joke the Medicaid broker situation is, and case in point. The other thing I talked about is, at a different point in time, everyone, I know you've heard, if you haven't unsubscribed yet, if you haven't deleted yet, stay tuned. Okay, what do we always hear from all these loon-toon politicians? The income equality. We have to seek income equality. Everyone's got to have income equality. Blah, 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 blah. And trust me, I'm not going to try to go off on some political diatribe too long. But it all proves a very important key point. I'm leading up to it. Okay, so income equality, the trigger words out there that all the loon-toons are using, okay? So if you're a doctor, if you're a brain surgeon, we want you making as much as your secretary. Granted, you went to school for decades and you're well experienced and well skilled, but your secretary who may have a GED or, you know, an associate degree, you should all get paid the same. And in your magical world, that's cool. What's the next thing that I talked about at one of my recent seminars? People thought I was crazy. The next big thing that you're going to start hearing is retirement equality. Retirement equality. People didn't believe me on the Obamacare. People didn't, and there's a lot of other things I've talked about. The income equality is the huge, you know, big hot topic with all these loon-toon politicians. The next one you're going to start hearing is retirement equality. And I mentioned this at one of my previous events. And sure enough, what just came out in the news, I'm sure some of you have seen it, what just came out in the news in the great state, and I say that sarcastically, of Illinois, they are proposing taxing private retirement accounts to fund the government subsidized retirement accounts for government employees. So again, and I'm picking on Illinois for a reason. If you take the top 5 worst states for pretty much anything, and I'm living in one of them, the People's Republic of New York. If you take New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Illinois, California, god awful if you're a business owner. Why? Because all they do is violate the laws of economics. As I've mentioned before in previous videos, money will always flow to the greatest opportunity. Money will always flow to the least resistance. So if you're going to tax the heck out of it, money is going to naturally go elsewhere. So, I mean, it's just common sense. Why do these top 5 highest taxed states have the greatest migration out of there? Because, again, money flows to the greatest opportunity. Joel, will you get to your point? Trust me, I'm working up to it. Here's my point. At the end of the day, the biggest thing that's going to come about, another trigger point, is going to be the retirement equality. Here it is, you've saved up for money. You've worked hard. You're a business owner. You've stacked money away. So your money's already been taxed a couple times over. And these loon-toon politicians are going to come after it again. Trust me, it's going to happen in the near future. So you're going to hear the trigger words, retirement equality. Because disproportionately, people who've been saving money, there's a lot, the vast majority of people don't save money, which means if they don't even have savings, they don't have retirement money, they don't have investments. Well, how do you equate that? How do you achieve equality? Again, loon-toons got to rob from the rich to give to the poor. They take from the haves to give to the have-nots. The people who worked hard, the people who didn't. Everything's got to be equal in their world. Again, so for those of you who haven't unsubscribed yet, that's cool. Pay attention. my point is this. I've always talked about making more money, saving more money, investing more money. But you say, well, if they're going to rob the money that I make, they're going to rob the money that I save, they're going to rob the money that I invest, what do I do? It's critical, absolutely critical. This is my point. It is absolutely critical that you always maintain profitable, multiple sources of revenue. Your cash flow is key. Trust me, making money, saving money, investing money, those are all critical strategies. In totality, it's critical that you always have multiple sources of profitable revenue. To do that, you need systems, policies, procedures. Systems, policies, procedures. So for those of you who haven't deleted the video yet, haven't unsubscribed because I'm a little too political or opinionated, or I haven't offended you because I've called you a freebie expert. Because again, so many of you watching this, you're not going to do anything. I get that. So that's why when you do delete, unsubscribe, that's fine. But there is going to be a minority of you who are going to pay attention and take action. And that's awesome. You are the person I'm talking to. So all the freebie frenzy, the freebie eaters, I'm not. I'm talking to those of you who are motivated, who take action. It's critical that you build effective systems, policies, and procedures so that you always have strong, positive cash flow. The Bible specifically says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Well, how do you do that? How does a good man leave an inheritance for his children's children when you have loon tunes out there who are just raping and pillaging your bank accounts 24/7, all the money that you're working hard for? So how do you do that? Multiple sources of revenue. The only way you could possibly manage strong, profitable sources of revenue is through sound systems, policies, procedures. So let's go back to the very beginning of this video, the very beginning of my long diatribe, as I was just walking up onto the platform of my soapbox. Going back to the great question from our active licensee, do I know this company? Do I know that company? Yes, I do. But look at their business model. It is not designed for you. The thing that we're doing with YouAreTheBroker.com, we are teaching you to build your own broker business. We are not teaching you to come in and be an independent contractor. Okay, I don't want you to be that guy with your own pickup truck that you're supposed to start salivating for some work order for $30 and $35 an hour. You can't grow, you can't scale, you can't sustain that. There's no utility in that. There's no profitability in that. I would never even think about turning over the ignition of my car, my brand new truck for what, a $30 delivery. Nor would I want to look ghetto trying to deliver a couch and people are supposed to be bedazzled by a brand new bright shiny black Ford F-150 for 30 bucks. That's a joke. Everything is about systems, policies, procedures. Generate the greatest amount of revenue, sustain the greatest amount of profitable cash flow. We can't control what all the loon tune politicians are going to do. Yeah, you can vote them out, all that type of stuff. But you, as the motivated business owner, you have a responsibility to be as effective and profitable as you can. I get it. There's a war on the wealthy out there. There's people who hate us. There's people who do not like the fact that we are ambitious. There's people who do not like the fact that we enjoy making money. There's people out there who resent the fact that we make more money, but yet when we make more money, we can employ more people. I've never seen poor employers. I just don't see it. I've never had a job by a poor person. I don't think they're out there. So the war on the rich, understand. Hey, I'm glad to have more money. It's unfortunate, the rhetoric that's out there and the war on the rich, but guess what? Would you rather be rich or rather be poor? Obviously, you'd rather be rich. That's why you're still watching this video of my long diatribe. So it's critical that you understand, for those of you who are serious about moving forward, understand you don't want to chase every rabbit hole out there. So these businesses out there that are built on low margins, understand you cannot grow and scale on low margins. Everything that we are going to teach you is highly effective systems, policies, and procedures so that you can duplicate, your effective systems, policies, and procedures. I want you to build, grow, and scale, because when you build, grow, and scale, and you make more money, I'll see you at the top.